the next day I had a beer with the Prime Minister of the harbor side. Now, Prime Minister in Aruba is the same as me having a beer here with John Rhodes, who is also a dear friend.
Right, okay, yeah, sure.
And, and I told him, I said, I need about 8 to 10 acres to do all this. And he said, oh yeah, I know Bob's plan, but we're out of land, we don't have it. I said, how about that corner in the harbor that we're looking at there? He said, well, it smells like hell.
Yeah.
If we fill that up and we're going to have a downtown beach resort.
Yeah.
And he looked at me, he said, you Dutch are all nuts. And he said, and you always want to fool around with the ocean. I said, yeah, that's what we do. Now, I'll cut this short. We've done $2 million of sand in the harbor.
Is that right?
And we had our 8 acres. And we had a downtown beach resort, which was a great success.
It was built on the sand right there.
Right on the sand.
After you filled it in.
Some pilings in it, and put a hotel and a casino. Yeah.
That is tremendous.
And,
it's still there now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's now called Renaissance Hotel.
Renaissance, is that right?
And
what does that feel like, Leo, to have been a part of something literally from from a hotel napkin? To have been a part of something before it was ever even in anyone's eye?
It was exciting in the beginning because it was a tremendous success from day one.
Right.
I talked the developer into, he said, the big bottleneck in timeshare then and now is the weekly maintenance fees.
Right.
Yeah, they're approaching regular hotel fees, hotel rates. So why don't we take 49% of the revenue from the shopping center, the marina, and the casino, and sell a timeshare without a maintenance fee.
Wow.
And that worked like a dream.
Yeah,
we sold the stars out of the sky.
Is that something they're doing now in the industry? Have they followed that model at all, or?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, right.
Because greed still prevails.
Yeah. So you physically did the first one, or were involved in marketing the first one back in 76?
75, 76,
So you had a 12-year span there of working in that industry prior to helping this guy there in Florida put this together.
They called me Mr. Timeshare on the
is that right? Is that your nickname, Mr. Timeshare?
Yeah, well, it's easy to be king on the land of the blind, right?
Oh, well. You also, of course, I think I saw, Leo, do you have proficiency, fluency in more than one language?
Yeah, well, I grew up, of course, speaking Dutch.
Speaking Dutch, right.
Then under the Dutch school system, then in 2nd grade, elementary school, you got 45 minutes of French every day.
French daily, okay.
Then in 3rd grade, they added 45 minutes of German, and in 4th grade, that was English, because for us that was an easy language.
Right,
whatever.
Yeah.
So we were immersed in 3 languages,
including
throughout the whole school career, because that continues throughout university and everything.
Is that right?
In those days, yes. And we had to, because the Dutch are known as the Chinese of the West. We are traders, and we go everywhere to make a buck. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
But, and our neighbors were England, Germany, and France. So we had to speak those languages. Then when I went to the islands, and I studied German in the university, that was my main thing.
Sure.
It doesn't help me a lot now, but...
Right. But it was important down there, sure.
Then in the islands, the local language is papiamento, which literally means speaking. And we had a lot of Spanish influences there, because we were only 14 miles away from Venezuela.
Papiamento, is that recognized by the UN? Do you know?
I don't know by the UN. But
I'm just wondering,
It's a very simple language. It has no past or present tense. It has no singular or plural. And it has a lot of English words and Portuguese words and some Dutch in there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Papiamento, that's interesting.
And then, of course, I picked up some Spanish, and through papiamento, some Portuguese and some Italian.
Is that right?
I can make.
With strong fluency.
I'm not saying I'm fluent in Portuguese or Italian, but I can make myself understood.
The original 4, though, you'll never forget them. Yeah.
I always say there's only one difficult language.
Oh, and is that the one?
The second one.
French?
No.
Oh.
The second language you learn is tough.
Okay.
Like you grew up speaking English.
Right.
If you now were fluent in Spanish, I don't know if you are or not, that would have probably been difficult for you.
Yes.
For me,
the second was French.
Was French.
Right.
And once you're fluent in two languages, there's something happening in your brain, and it makes it easier to pick up a third and a fourth, because there are so many similarities between languages.
That's interesting. I would have thought it would make it more difficult.
No, it isn't.
That's fascinating,
It
Leo.
isn't.
Is Peggy fluent in these languages as well?
Peggy speaks two languages.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's English and the language of love.
Of love.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll get you some pointers.
Oh, yeah.
Good for you early on a
Yeah,
Wednesday
or in the
morning.
doghouse.
Yeah, or maybe in the doghouse. That's hilarious, Leo. Now, these days, of course, you and Peggy decided to get out of the islands for the most part, sold your business down there, and decided to make the Palmetto State your home.
Yeah, that's an interesting story, though, because Peggy's parents were pushing 80 when we visited in '95.
Right.
And they were good people. I got along with them well. Her dad was one of the first TV personalities in Wilmington in the 50s and 60s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And
I've heard Hilda talk about that,
yeah,
but I didn't know that for sure. Yeah.
And so we had a good time with them. Peggy said, "Can we live here a couple of years?" They said, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll just commute." Well, that is a commute from hell, from Myrtle Beach. Because I had never been to Myrtle Beach. Peggy had to do something here with the pottery or so. And I looked around and I saw Broadway, the beach just starting.
Right.
And I saw the Air Force Base, and I talked to some people there while she was doing her business. It said, "Oh my God, this is Aruba." 11 years later. We had a big upset in the islands in 1984. We had a huge Exxon refinery, and 40% of the population worked there, and it closed.
40. Wow, entirely.
Yeah. And so then we had all sorts of emergency meetings, and we even got locked up on a small island for a whole weekend with the government, see where are we going with this. And we decided to go, what was then 2,000 hotel rooms, try to double it to 4,000.
Right.
Well, we wound up with 8,000, and that came with interesting problems as well.
Yeah.
So I thought, Myrtle Beach, that's going to boom.
Right.
So on the way back, I picked up a Sun News when I bought gas, and I threw it in Peggy's lap, and I said, "Find us a place to live here."
Yeah.
She said, "Myrtle Beach? Redneck Riviera?"
Right.
I don't think so.
No chance, yeah.
And but then Pa and Ma, they started supporting that idea, and we wound up here, and she is happy as a lark here. And
Oh
so
yeah,
am I.
absolutely.
And it's not the Redneck Riviera anymore.
No, that it's not. Developments like the old school one that you've moved into, and that's gotten fixed up, and other amazing developments like the Barefoot area or Grand Dunes or some of the stuff on the south end.
I tell you,
all along the waterway of magnificent developments there.
There are, and I was involved in 4 of those.
Is that right?
Yeah, in land
you
sales.
Have kept we've just got a couple of minutes, Leo. You've obviously kept I think I saw your license by both the North and South Carolina Real Estate Commissions.
Yeah.
You hang your hat with a friend, is that correct? If people wanted to...
My partner Jim Smith, who owns All Team Realty, I work with him. I have my own real estate company, Location Inc.
Location.
And we're starting a new project. The market is very, very soft at the moment. So we're going to build a little over 100 homes on Highway 905 in the $200,000
Great.
range.
Good. On Highway 905, yeah. Right.
And we have a nice tract of land there. And
good.
We are breaking ground as you and I speak.
Right now. Yeah. That's great. He's out there on the site.
I should be there in my coveralls.
I know.
Well,
you can pick up something here at Ace and head on out there. Good thinking.
Yeah.
If you wanted to reach you or get in touch with you, what's the best way?
Call me on my cell phone.
Okay.
843, of course, 222-4591.
Okay, 4591.
Yeah.
Great.
And I'll gladly help you get some real estate, get rid of some real estate.
Sure.
Help you develop. I'm here.
It is.
I'm never going to retire.
Listen to that, Leo. Have you told your children that?
Well,
they're going to retire before you do.
I don't think so. Well, good for them if they can.
Yeah. You mean you never want to retire? Yeah. Peggy, of course, she'll never retire.
No.
None
She'll
of her
die
kids
selling.
will. That's right.
Yeah.
She'll die selling something. Yeah. Yeah, they're at Resources, and that's such a tremendous location. I remember the opening party a year or two ago, as she had a big crowd out there, and of course she's done so many spectacular things. Are her parents still living, Leo?
No, they passed on.
Neither of them. Are yours?
No, my parents died a long time ago, at a young age.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Any thoughts you'd ever get back to the Netherlands much?
We do every now and then, but I left in 1969, and you're basically uprooted. It's nice to see a family, but after 3, 4, 5 days, I say, let's move on.
Right.
But we've done some nice European vacations.
Good.
We'll probably continue to do that.
Keep doing that. Thank you, Leo. Good having
Greg,
you
it's a
in.
pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. I'm sorry we didn't get to talk about one other great thing, but stay tuned to more Carolina People with Leo Van Veen coming up next. If you want your own, you heard Leo say that. Actually, you missed it. It was off camera. It was a great one. If you want to pick up your own lesson in broken English, pick up the phone, 222-4591, 222-4591. But the excitement there, heard him talk about leaving the Netherlands in 1969. Think of that. That's almost 4 decades ago, and the experiences that have transpired over the last almost 40 years. Down in Aruba, and of course, this last decade here, you heard him talk about the opportunity to end his life many, many years from now right here in the Palmetto State, making a difference every day. We also wanted to highlight his tremendous donation. We ran out of time there. Leo and his bride made one of the best donations ever to the American Heart Association in the area at the Heart Ball 2 years ago, a 1976 Cadillac convertible, which went for $16,500, making a difference every day. Leo Van Veen.